Boss fight has been broken. An exploit has been found to completely destroy it. Or has it? Okay, so someone found an exploit for a boss fight to make it supposedly really easy to go ahead and just completely beat the boss with basically no effort whatsoever, except for the beginning part. Now, a lot of YouTubers are making it seem like boss fight is completely broken and you can go ahead and go to Insane 16 with this strategy. And there is an exploit for boss fight, and you can use it for the earlier insane waves, and I think you can probably use it for some of the difficult insane waves like insane 6, 7, maybe even 8, but I don't think this exploit is actually going to work for much later on. I would be love to be proved wrong, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But I want to talk about the exploit today. I'm going to tell you how you can do it, and I'm going to tell you why I don't think it's actually going to work for the really later waves in the insane levels. Oh, you're probably wondering why my background is different. I'm at my parents' for the holidays, so it's gonna be a different background for a little bit. Okay, so first off, there's two strategies. One of them involves Barley, Bull, and Leon. The other one involves Barley, Bull, and Dynamite, but the Dynamite strategy is not quite as solid because it is gonna be faster, which is gonna work better for the earlier insane waves, but it puts much more pressure on Bull, and as you get into the higher insane levels, you do need that Leon and the Bull to be able to make it and just survive and have this strategy work. So let's go over each role, starting out with the simplest one, starting out with Leon. Now, you don't need any of these brawlers max, although Barley is probably an important one to have max, just for Barley is the most important brawler for this as far as killing the boss. But let's go over the first role. Leon is going to be the distractor mostly. He's going to be the guy who has to stay alive the whole time. Now, what Leon's going to do, the first 15 seconds, you can go ahead and damage the boss. But after 15 seconds, you basically have to go run all the way into the top right corner. And the goal of Leon is to try and take all of the fire of those exploding rockets that the boss fires. The boss will fire that exploding rocket at the brawler who is the furthest away from the boss. And Leon's goal is just to keep running around the whole time. He needs to make sure those exploding rockets are targeting him. If they target the person who's trying to kill the boss, then the boss will just be the strategy will be ruined. Now, the second brawler is going to be Bull. Bull's job, he's going to go ahead and charge up his super right away. And then he's got to go all the way to the bottom left-hand corner, and he's got to make a space that's going to allow Barley to just sit there and attack the boss the whole time without being attacked. So what you got to do, you need two supers for this. The first one you do in a straight line, and you got to make sure you're all the way against the wall, and you got to make sure you're going in a straight line. It's just going to take out those 3 or 4 tiles, but just in a line, in one row. One super, and then you got to go back to the boss. You got to go ahead and charge your second super, and then you go back. You go all the way into the corner, and all you want to do is take out one tile with that second super. You're just taking out one tile. That's it. All you're trying to do is create that space for Barley to go to attack the boss. You go ahead and do that. You create those two things with those two supers, and then what you do is you go around, and you want to stay on the outside as the Bull. But let's switch to the Barley's role, and then we'll go back to the Bull's role for the second part. So now early on throughout this, Barley will have the aggro of the boss for the majority of the beginning here. What the Barley's going to be doing, just going to keep on attacking the boss, swooping the boss, do as much damage as possible. Also, you want to make sure you pick up as much elixir, as much power-ups as possible as you can as Barley, because Barley's going to be the main damage dealer. So you want to get Barley as strong as possible so Barley can kill that boss as soon as possible. So you got to making sure you're staying alive, doing as much damage as possible, and getting those elixirs. And then while you're doing this, you're just basically waiting for Bull to go ahead and break those walls and build that corner for you to be able to go there and just stay there and attack the boss. Another thing you can do is while Bull is doing that, you can bring that boss slightly close to the Bull, but you also have to be careful because that boss does have that charging ability and he can go ahead and break through some of those walls, and you don't want him to go ahead and charge in the corner because that will completely, of course, ruin the plan. But you do want to have the boss a little bit closer to the Bull, that way he can charge up his second super sooner, he can get there a little bit quicker, and it's not as big of a deal. Another important thing is the Barley cannot die. I think this one is a pretty obvious one, but early on, if the Barley dies, you probably should just restart if that happens. You could keep on going, but I would probably recommend you just restart, have everyone just bite the dust and keep on going. So now once those two walls are made, those two supers are done with Bull, and he made that corner for you, then you have to try and draw the boss with you. He has to be attacking you, and you want him to be like following you and you go in the corner. You have to make it there alive and he has to be there with you. The other thing is, as the bull, you want to make sure that boss is going for the barley, not going for the bull. But the bull wants to not be in that corner. It's going to be a little bit easier if the bull is not in the corner. So essentially that barley is just going to be sitting there in the corner attacking the boss the whole time, just continuously attacking. Another thing as the barley you want to keep in mind is there will be robots who will keep on coming and attacking you. So you need to be careful about not just spamming your attacks all the time. You want to be making sure you might have your super to deal with those robots sometimes, or you have attacks to come and kill them, because if they're attacking you, like obviously you can't die, so you need to have the attacks to be able to kill them and keep on attacking the boss at the same time. But basically the barley is just going to be spamming attacks constantly, and barley is going to be the only person who damages the boss, and barley has to kill the boss basically by themselves. So while this is going on, you want to have the bull and the Leon. They need to stay alive. That is very key. Both of them need to stay alive. If one of them dies, it could be okay, you can keep going, but if both of them die, you are screwed. If the bull dies, like whoever dies, they almost always seem to respawn on the barley. So that is, I think they respawn typically closer to the boss or something. So they're going to respawn on the barley if any of them die. If the bull dies, you're stuck there. You cannot move out. You cannot move out of wherever the barley is. If the Leon dies, there's a potential where you can escape from the corner if you have your super. Now, this is not foolproof though. I've tried it a couple times, and I had one time where the boss did aggro on me and then the boss charged and broke the wall and the whole thing was ruined. I had 2 times where I was able to escape and the boss didn't attack me at all. I think it's worth trying maybe, but it might be too risky and maybe you want to just have the Leon stay there. But the main thing that makes this too difficult to do really later on is eventually there just becomes too many robots. You get past 5 minutes and there becomes too many robots. You can imagine a 0 power up Leon and a 0 power up bull are not going to be able to just continuously kill all these super high health robots and dodge rockets at the same time. It just becomes really difficult, especially when you're getting to like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and you start having like 8 robots chasing you around. This is where it starts to be not a good enough strategy for super strong, insane levels. I do think you can beat some of the really difficult insane levels with this. Like maybe you can beat insane 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7, maybe even 8, maybe even 9. But I don't think you're going to be able to get much past that because it just starts to become too difficult for both Leon and Bull to be alive at the same time. The other thing I will say, one thing to know as Leon is if you super, those rockets will no longer target you. So you have to be careful about that. That's something to be aware of because if the Bull is dead and you super, the rockets will go ahead and target the barley. If the Bull is alive and you super and the bull is not in the corner, then you can go ahead and super, but just be aware that those rockets are going to start targeting the bull instead of you. I mean, honestly, this is probably going to take you a couple tries to be able to figure this out and get this right. Maybe depending on what level of insane you are on, or even if you're before that. Honestly, I'm going to recommend, though, you really try this out, figure it out. If you're on the earlier insane levels, go ahead and do this, and maybe you can figure this out and get it to work on the really insane levels as well. I'm not quite sure it's going to though because it predicates. You have to have Leon and or Bull be alive and not in the corner. And you can imagine when you start getting to like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and there's 30% health left on the boss and there's 10 robots chasing you around. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for everyone on the outside to survive. So look, this is definitely a really good strategy for beating a lot of the insane levels. Is it completely broken though? No, not really, especially not as much as some YouTubers are making it seem. It's definitely a solid one, and maybe I'll be proved wrong. Maybe someone will be able to make a way to make it a little bit better that they can make this keep on working. I mean, maybe you can have it, if you can get it to the point where Leon is the only one dying and he's able to just keep supering out and the boss doesn't pull aggro, maybe, yeah, it can work. It might take a lot of attempts though, but who knows? All right, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know how far you're able to get with this strategy down below. I'd love to hear it. That's gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.